Good afternoon to you. Our coverage of Hurricane Harvey, now Tropical Storm Harvey, continues. Happening right now, the very first press conference in Rockport, where the eye of the storm hit last night. Let's go there live.
And are now being transported where they can be taken care of better. And we're out assessing. We've called for troops. We have the DPS strike force here. We have Border Patrol here. We have Texas Department of Game Wardens, yeah. And everybody's coming in, and I was just told by the Assistant Director of EOC in Austin that we have a lot more coming. We have 10 buses coming to take people out of the county because we don't have a place to put them. We can't take care of them, the ones that are refugees, more or less. Other than that, we are organized, getting better organized, and taking care of the people that stayed.
What's the extent of the damage to your county, Judge?
I would say
bad.
It's bad. I'm not an insurance man, but if I was, I'd say several $100 million.
Judge, you talked about 12 to 14 injuries. What were the nature of those injuries?
Minor injuries. They, slip, fell,
scratches, cuts.
Broke a leg, things like that.
Any reported fatalities?
Yes, one.
At least one? Can
so
you
far.
talk to us about that?
There was someone that was caught in a fire in his house during the storm, and we didn't know about it until today.
Are you releasing the ID?
Pardon?
Are you IDing the person?
Can you identify the person?
Is she a young woman, elderly woman?
I didn't say it was a woman, did I? I didn't even say who it was.
You seem to be getting a little emotional about it, Judge.
Well, I hate losing anybody.
We're not here in the business to watch people's lives to be taken away because of this hurricane. We're here to protect and serve people. This is the time. Let us notify the family. Let us step back and get things taken care of. And we don't need to give it a male, female, or who it is, what race or this. That's not what we're here for. Let us get a hold of that family and let them know what the situation is, if we can find out who it is and everything. And that's what we're doing. There's no reason for us to broadcast all the United States saying, hey, this is what has occurred. But right now, with just one fatality, we've been very blessed with what we've had.
Can you tell us about the resilience of Rockport? Talk to us about the community, what the nation doesn't know about your town.
We're strong. We have 3 entities in this community, and when something like this together hits, we work as one unit. We have our differences politically. We call each other names, but when this happens, we're brothers and we take care of each other.
We have assessed our school district. We've gone through the buildings with our chief of police from the school district. I have walked all the schools, and we've got significant damage in our schools. That's going to make a difference on when school can start back up. We've been in contact with the superintendent, so I'll let you know of that. We don't know what the story is or when that's going to happen. Right now, the most thing we got to do is get cleaned up and start cleaning up and finding out what we've got and see what we got. If you drive through this town right now, you see telephone posts laying on the sides everywhere. You can't get back up and running until AEP gets in here and their crews coming in from Georgia and everywhere else to come in and help us. That's what's going to happen. Once those poles get restuck in the ground, they start running wires again. We can get electricity to everybody. We can start doing things. But right now, we're just working off of free hands and a lot of labor.
Is there a timeline for that? For
No.
when electricity will come back online?
No.
What about the people who left? When should they come back? Are you all
When we tell them they can. We'll put it on our web pages, on the Town of Fulton web page, on the Aransas County web page, on the City of Rockport web page.
It will not do any good to come back now.
Please don't.
Be part of the problem, not part of the solution.
What do you need right now?
A lot of prayers. That may sound ridiculous to y'all, but right now we could list you 13, 14 sheets of paper telling you what we could use this, we could use that. But the problem is if we put it out there over the nation, they'll start sending us 18-wheelers and won't have any place to put it. The world cares about each other, and they reach their hands out to everybody. We know that. We've seen it every day in Cortina. But right now we just need people to give us a chance to get ourselves back on our feet and see what we do need and see how fast we need it here.
You all had excuse me.
Well, he's talked to the governor. He's talked to the senators. They've all offered their help, whatever we need. That's what's going on. It's not any political race. There's no Democrat or Republican in this race. It is a city of Rockport, Aransas County, and the town of Fulton. That's what's in this race to get black.
What's most striking to you as you've gone out through the community to survey the damage?
Well, we rode together and saw everything laying on the ground.
It's when you see some buildings that you thought were going to be here forever, and some of them have been here forever, gone. It's shocking.
And you see buildings that you think, whoa, I wish it was gone. There's so shed over here, but it's still there. You know, it's amazing how the Mother Nature doesn't pick out. It's not random. It's very random about what it picks out and destroys. It just doesn't just pick out one thing and say we're going to destroy that. You know, Mother Nature's hard to deal with, and if you test Mother Nature, she'll slap you right back real good.
Not only your part of the response, but you've also been affected by it personally as well. Can you talk to us about that?
Well, I've lost my barn, my cars, part of my house now, and we got one coming back in here at 6 o'clock that we're a little concerned about having some more wind and rain, and I hope I go home and have the rest of it. You know, has it hit us in the pocketbook, each individual in this town? Yes, Judge has been hit, I've been hit. The mayor of Rockport's going to be hit when he sees what happens to his house. It's just, we all been hit.
I live in the old part of Rockport, an old house, and when I finally got to check on it earlier today, I found that my house is okay, but I can't get to it because the tree's laying right in front of the front door, and I need a big chainsaw and somebody bigger than me to cut the tree down.
I got some of the biggest oaks in the town. There's beautiful oaks in my backyard. They're now on top of my building. And, that makes you sad. That's part of a Rockport and Fulton and Ramsey County is the oak trees. It's the birds that come here and stay here. It's what we bring in here are tourists. And right now we can't bring tourists in here. And that is an issue to us. So that's what we live on.
That's our livelihood.
Part of the history.
Let's go with him first. He spoke first, okay?
Part of the history of this town includes a large oak that's got a windmill stuck in it from a past windstorm.
That's
it kind of
important.
speaks to the resilience of it from back then. We're going to see something like that now?
No, we see a tree on top of a pickup truck over in Fulton that just took its place.
Is the windmill still there? Is it not?
Yes, it's still there.
It's still there.
All right.
So you had a mandatory evacuation
Yeah.
in the whole county.
Yes.
What percentage of folks do you think stayed and did not evacuate? Trying to get some idea of how many people were here.
About 40%.
Stayed. So what number would that be? Just a rough number.
I think our number in our county, total county population is between 20 and 25,000, something like that. We don't really have the number.
24.5.
24.5. So you do the math. I was a fine math teacher. I was a PE coach.
How does it make you feel when you see the damage?
Sick.
Yeah, pretty sickening.
Listen,
Lots of emotions are involved in when you see your community destroyed like this one's been destroyed. But we're resilient. We'll bounce back and get
You
back.
had to assign a percentage of the desolation, destruction?
No.
No, but if you had to just kind of
I couldn't. We have not been able to get in certain areas.
60, 90?
We have not been able to get in certain areas, so we really don't have the territory covered. There's trees down that we can't even get on the
And
other
power
side.
lines down. We can't get to certain
I went to
parts
check,
of
a
the town.
lady asked me to check her house. I climbed through 2 trees and got to her house, looked around her house, climbed back through 2 trees, got in my car and drove back to her house, said, ma'am, it's still there. She was at the shelter. She's worried about it. Well, that's what we're doing here. That's what everybody's doing here. If you want to put a percentage on something, then we're in the wrong business. The only percentage we were about is saving lives.
FEMA's here assessing that, and they'll let us know sometime in the near future.
So we normally see massive flooding even in minor rainstorms around here. Driving around town, the flooding is not nearly what it has been in other storms.
And
it's got to be a silver lining at least.
Yeah.
It's a great silver lining.
Mother Nature gives you a break sometimes.
Are you worried that the flooding may get worse?
It's supposed to rain for 2 more days.
Right.
Do you
That's
have
not good.
Do you have a quarter in your pocket? I mean, penny for your thoughts. What do you think?
Yep.
We worry about everything every time we sit down. We worry about that person we don't know where they're at. So yes, we worry about the more flooding. Yes, we worry about a lot of things.
I noticed that the county courthouse was
It's pretty bad shape, yes.
What other public structures were harmed by the storm?
Public structures.
The library,
the high school gymnasium, the auditorium.
All ones within the city.
We
of
lost
Rockport.
2 gymnasiums,
Yeah,
two
you lost
practice
two.
gymnasiums. Our school is one school in our county.
Yeah, we only have one.
And we have lost, I know of 2 gymnasiums over there when I walk through. The auditorium's got the front and the back, a beautiful Luigi auditorium, its doors are off of it, water's inside it, so water will go wherever it wants to go, you can't stop it. You can put all the sandbags you want, it will travel where it needs to go. And the school has its problems, Rains County has its problems, town of Fulton has them, and Rockport. Yeah, and just, we got a lot of structures that got issues.
Were you able to follow much of the news, different reports that were coming out last night?
We don't have any communications, but
So when you woke up this morning, was it worse or less worse than what you expected?
It was worse.
we rode around the night of it right before the eye, a little bit while it was going on.
Yeah.
We were lucky, got to go in and travel, both of us did together. We saw what we saw, some places that was, oh, that's still there. Then when we opened up the door and we went driving around and said, whoa, where is it? It's gone now.
And
so that second one, the first one came through and did damage. The second one came through and took care of the rest of the damage.
How old are some of those oak trees, the big ones, the old ones that fell?
I don't know, but
I have two that still are standing in my front yard that are over 600 years old. And just a block from me in the Boy Scouts area, those trees probably 200 or 300 years old, and they're gone.
You look through there and see little beautiful oaks on normal days, and today we looked out there and we don't see any greenery in the top of them at all.
It's amazing that all the oak trees are stripped of, if they're standing, they're stripped of their leaves.
But the amazing thing is, after this today, and each day now, when it quits raining, it'll turn beautiful here again.
Yeah.
And we'll start repairing ourselves, and we'll pull our boot strings up tighter and start working together as a complete entity, a complete community. People will step up. We've already getting phone calls from people who want to come back to help us. That's the type of thing, though. You know, people say you do big things, or do things bigger in Texas. We got a big heart. In Rockport, Fulton, and Francis County, we've got the biggest heart I've ever been around.
Are you impressed with the amount of people that have come in to volunteer their services to help out?
Yes.
Francis County is very, very fortunate in people volunteering to help in several ways, and not just during disasters.
We've got one of the counties with the largest number of non-profit groups that you have ever imagined, and they're out to give to other people, and people care. They give with their heart, they give with their soul what they love, and they love their community, and that's what we're seeing right now. Is people reaching out with love toward us. They may be mad at us a couple of times, but they're
Did you anticipate that they'll close off the city, the guards and everything during the...
No.
Y'all do?
I don't anticipate any roadblocks.
Any looting problems?
Not yet.
How's the old mansion?
It was standing last time I saw it, and I didn't see any damage. Did you, Fulton Mansion?
No, it's in good shape. I mean, it's been here longer than we have. It'll probably be here longer than I am. But, yeah, there's some places that you'd be surprised to survive. It just blows my mind. But I will tell you, we had a bunch of little tornadoes. And John Metz told us we're going to have many tornadoes. He didn't lie to us.
It's evident the way that damage is. It's not a hurricane damage. It's, it's hit here and then it's skipped that house and hit here.
And it looks just like just took little pieces and just tore it up. And like a little kid had a temper tantrum with a piece of paper. It just destroyed it. And, that's not from hurricanes. That's from what's in the sky that was given to us. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Where's the mayor?
Thank you, gentlemen.
Out at their center.
Out their center.
Rockport Fulton area is known as a community of faith. How is that impacting the way people are responding to this?
Do it again, sir?
I said Rockport Fulton is known throughout the region as the community of faith. A lot of churches in the area.
Yeah.
How's that impacting the response to all this?
We have one church that has a lot of damage, First Baptist Church.
First Baptist Church has a lot of
And
damage.
there was people there today cleaning it up.
Yeah.
Their own church members. And I stopped there since I'm a deacon at that church and asked the people that were walking around, they were picking up bricks, and they're from the church next door.
The Episcopal Church?
Huh?
The Episcopal Church?
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, they were from every denomination out there. There's some I didn't even know and some I did know. But they were just picking up bricks and looking, trying to straighten it up a little bit. So that, to me, that's special.
When I was driving in here, it just seemed like weaving in through, like you said, all the stop signs, bricks and stuff. It just seems like there's damage on every single lot that you see of some sort. How long do you think the storm was working here?
We know. It started at 7 o'clock last night and it lasted for 14 hours.
Dead set 14 hours. We had a 2-hour leg in the middle of it at the eye, and we were able to get out to at least see some things and get people where they need to be. We got that first chance to go out. But,
for 2 hours?
Yeah. And it's coming.
A little less than 2 hours.
What was that like, though? What was that like to be here while that was going on?
Well, folks, I got in a car and took off, and my truck with everything, the window out of it, and drove over there with water flowing on me, and dumped it and grabbed a city vehicle and took off to see what I could see in my town. And have you ever had to come home and tell your mom and dad you ever had an F in the class? That's what I felt like. I was a failure. And that's what I felt like to myself personally, is because our town was destroyed. And it hurts. So that's an F to me right now. And our job is now to get the A on the course. Put it back together.
It's not on you, then?
Yes, it is. We're the mayor and the county judge. We take it that way.
Well,
what was it like for you, Judge?
It's very disheartening when you see your community. You know, I'm 6th generation in this community, and I've seen a lot. And I haven't seen anything like this in 47 years. So, I don't think it was this bad then. But it's very disheartening, but we're going to get through it, and we'll make it. We're working together, and we'll rebuild, and it'll be better.
And that 47 years ago was from?
Celia. No, it's 41 years.
1970.
1970. How many?
Hurricane Celia?
Yeah.
And you think this is even worse?
Oh, yeah.
This is a strong 4. This was definitely a strong 4. Of course, I'm not a meteorologist, but you can quote me. It's a strong 4.
Have y'all gone through this, or have you started to see if there are people trapped anywhere?
We have started to search and rescue going on.
We're doing all the calls that we've got before and before we lost communications. We're going out and checking those areas now, or have been.
We've got the Chief of Fulton is also the EOC Commander, Ricky McClester. The Chief of Police, Tim J. Rowe for Rockport. Sheriff Bill Mills for Aransas County. Those 3 guys have worked tirelessly to set up the grades, and their commanders and their assistants, chief deputies, have set up a grid. They started working the grid with the help of the DPS, the game wardens, the Border Patrol. They're out there doing the assessment right now, and that helps us tremendously. We're going through. You see an X on the house, they've checked the house, and that's what they're doing.
Is there any estimate on how long that process is going to take?
Sir, have you seen what's been destroyed?
No, we don't have any idea.
You know, that's kind of, I would pull Donald Trump on you, but I won't do that.
But really, assets are coming in fast, and I've been told that by sundown tonight, we'll have many more people here to help, and tomorrow, even more. So,
I'm sorry, tell us a little bit about that process of making a grid. You're checking every single house?
What they do is lay a map down. They laid the map down, they divided it amongst each other and started working grids in areas, and that's how you make sure you don't overlap each other. Right. You start working it. Folks, they're the professionals. We're proud of them. We're lucky to have them, aren't we?
Real lucky.
Yeah. And those 3 men, they work together. Then their staff works together. We've all pulled the bootstraps up there, and we're all together. We're one family. And you won't tear us apart by trying to figure out a way not to make us a family, because we are one. Any other questions? We really do need to go back in there and visit with our people. But thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.
And be safe, please.
We'll be back at 6.
Is there a number I can reach yet? I'm with you.
All right, a live press conference from Rockport ending right now. The first time we are hearing from county officials since Hurricane Harvey hit there last night. Just to recap on some of the most important points, some new information that we just learned. They talked about, they know that some people have experienced some minor injuries. They mentioned a broken leg. Mainly people who rode out the storms decided to stick it out in their home. We do want to mention that those two gentlemen talked about one death, but we're still trying to clarify that information. There are some conflicting reports. We know that the mayor told NBC News that that may not be true. Obviously, the situation is very fluid, new information coming out every minute. They did mention walking some of the schools, talked about the substantial damage that we have seen in a lot of the video that we've been showing you all day and some pictures. Also, they mentioned 10 buses that are coming to take people out of the county because they don't have anywhere to put them right now. They've got so many needs. They didn't go into specifics. They know that people are going to give and open their hearts and come with food and come with water. They're still trying to figure out where they're going to put it all. They said the biggest need right now are prayers.